Hi there, Stampin' Friends. It's been forever since I've made a video, so I feel I should introduce myself again. This is Kathy Seminara from Semi Stampers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Huntingtown, Maryland. My group and I wanted to participate in the World Card Making Day on October 1st, but life, weddings, reunions, and other events got in the way. So we decided to make our own World Card Making Day on October 29th. And I must apologize for a buzz that you will hear in the background. I am in my basement, and that's my dryer going off. I wanted to share with my group a one-sheet wonder technique I had seen done by Ruth Trice Magnets from Artful Stampin'. Ruth is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Wales. As I was trying to explain the technique, one of my group members said, "Could you just show it to us?" So that prompted me to start videoing again. This one-sheet wonder technique is great if you're making multiple cards like at Christmas. However, you can use any stamp set at any time of year and it would be just great. My cards will be a Christmas theme. So therefore, I am using these colors: Cherry Cobbler, Real Red, Soft Suede, Sahara Sand, Evening Evergreen, and Soft Succulent. The stamp sets I will be using are the Leaves of Holly, featured in the July to December mini catalog. This stamp set is a two-step stamp set with a more solid and a more detailed stamp, and it's also part of a bundle which has these dies. We won't be using the dies for this technique though. The second stamp set I'll be using is Oceanfront, and I'll be using only the small speckled image. Let's get started, shall we? We begin with a sheet of very vanilla cardstock that I have trimmed down to 8 inches by 10.5. You don't need to do that, but that's just my preference. You can also go with basic white, like I will show you in my samples later on. Okay, let's begin by taking the more solid, larger holly leaf image, and we will stamp it in Soft Succulent. And because it's photopolymer, you have to stamp it on your Stampin' Pierce mat. I keep this in the bag for protection, but also because I can never remember its name. So we will stamp this in sort of a a circular pattern, sort of like a 5-petaled flower. There's no rhyme or reason. Some designs I've seen go diagonally, some go crisscross, but it's whichever you feel like doing. Okay. I have to clean that off before I have a disaster. The more detailed image of the larger leaf, I'm stamping in Evening Evergreen. Now what I'm going to try to do, I hope I won't put my head in the camera, I'm going to try to stamp directly on top of the leaf, lining it up as best as I can. And being photopolymer, it helps you because you can see through the stamp. When I first started trying this technique, especially with flowers and leaves, as I was stamping, I was thinking, oh boy, this is a hot mess. But if you think that, just keep going, because you'll be surprised how different they look after you cut them up. Oop, I let that cat out of the bag. Anyway, that's something that we'll do later. Okay, that's all set for the greens. Now we'll take the smaller leaf, the solid image, and if I can find my solid image, yep, there it is. And we will stamp it in Sahara sand. And we'll go just about in the middle. Of the soft succulent and evening evergreen leaves. And there really is no right way or wrong way to do this. It's just the way that you like it, because it's your card. Now I'll put the Sahara sand away, and I'll take soft suede and the detailed smaller holly leaf. And I'll do the same thing, try to line up right on top of the solid image. And if you don't get it right on top, it's okay. Oop. I caught the edge of my block there. But even if that got on the paper, there'll be ways to correct that. You know, next to the green leaves, I feel like the Sahara sand color has almost a green tone to it. Kind of reminds me of army green. Okay, there we go. Now, I will take real red and the solid image of the berries, and I'll start randomly stamping in and out and all around. Oop, right off the end of my mat. Not a good idea. Okay, you know what? As Ruth says, just keep going. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now the berries also have a detailed image in the stamp set, and we will stamp the detailed berry image in Cherry Cobbler. Again, trying to line up the berries as best as we can and go right over the top. And it gives a nice detailed image. Now let's see, can I cover this mistake? There we go. Shh, don't tell anybody I made a mistake. Okay. Now we'll continue on doing the detailed stamp on the rest of these berries. When I first saw the holly berries with the Sahara sand and soft suede, I thought, oh, that's kind of unusual. But the more I see it, the more I really like it. You know, I don't know what other colors would be good for a holly, but Maybe not pink or purple, but I'm sure there are some other colors that might be good. Okay, and we're done with that. Now I'm going to bring back the Sahara Sand and the Soft Succulent, and I'm using the dotted stamp. I'm going to stamp off once onto scratch paper and then stamp. Oh no, I didn't say, I said I was going to do first and second generation, didn't I? Well, as I was making my other samples, I had to re-ink my Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen because they were getting a little dim. And so I didn't wait long enough before I started stamping. So they were really deep, rich colors, and I didn't want that. So that's why I was stamping off. But I did say in my directions earlier that I was going to stamp first and second generation. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the Sahara Sand. And the Sahara Sand is coming out a little bit lighter on the Very Vanilla, the second generation of Sahara Sand, but that's okay. Keep going. Okay. Now, when you are satisfied with your stamping, and okay, I think I'm okay now. When you are satisfied with the stamping, you need to close up your ink pads before you have a disaster like I've been known to have. You will take your stamped piece of cardstock and you will cut it in half at the 4-inch mark and the 5 1/4 inch mark. So let's do that. And you're saying no, but it's okay. There we go. And then 5 1/4. And the second piece, we will go 5 1/4. Okay. So in just that short a time, we have 4 very nice pieces that we can use as card fronts for cards. Just like that. And you can make them go landscape or portrait, any way you want. Now I'll bring in my samples that I had done earlier. Where's the 4th one? You can either stamp your greeting directly on the big piece of cardstock that you stamped after you cut it though, after you cut it. And these second two, what I did, I cut them even further. This one, I cut down to 3 3/4 by 5. And I popped up the sentiment Christmas wishes. And I cut out another, I die cut with the dies, another piece, another banner in the Evening Evergreen, and I cut it in two, popped it up on dimensionals, and I'll adhere it right there. This one I cut into thirds, approximately 1 5/8 inches, thereabouts. But I had to make a banner similarly because I caught the edge of my block, so I had to cover up that mistake. Now this mask, I did the same thing, except I cut it in a different direction. Popped it up on dimensionals, and then I'll end up putting it right about there. Now for the inside, I decorated again with the holly leaves and berries, easy for me to say, and the dotted image. I did this on each individual mat. I didn't do another circular mat like I did for the front of the cards. But all these sentiments came from the Leaves of Holly stamp set. And this Peace and Joy, those are 3 different stamps in the Leaves of Holly stamp set, so I had to stamp them individually. And from our house to yours. So friends, that's it. It doesn't take much time at all. And it's a lot easier showing you than it is trying to explain it. But here's what it looked like before I cut it. And then when you cut it, you can get 4 nice card fronts, quick and easy. So that's it, friends. Until next time, stay safe, everybody, and happy stamping. See you next time.